Hello and welcome to VOP Business Show. I'm Esther Nwachukwu. Nigeria's inflation rate has risen again to 22.41% for the fifth consecutive time in 2023. And this is according to the current Consumer Price Index report of the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, in April, it was 22.22%, while in May last year, it was 21.34%. The NBS report says inflation continues to rage at an over 17-year high, despite contractionary monetary policies by the Central Bank of Nigeria. It attributed the rise in food inflation to increases in prices of oil and fat, yam and other tubers, bread, cereals, fish, fruits, meat and vegetable. The inflationary rate was responsible for why the CBN had to hike interest rates to their highest levels in nearly 2 decades. Meanwhile, inflation is expected to continue its upward trend through the year, following the announcement of the removal of petrol subsidies and the adjustment of the foreign exchange rate at the official market. Furthermore, the exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar, according to the data released on the FMDQ Security Exchange, which is the official forex trading portal, showed that the Naira opened at 658 Naira 50 kobo per dollar on Thursday, June 15, 2023, and closed at 702 Naira 19 kobo per dollar on Thursday, June 15, 2023. Naira traded as high as 791 Naira to the dollar at the investors and exporters window and closed at 702 Naira on Thursday. The Central Bank of Nigeria on Wednesday, the 14th of June 2023, announced the unification of all segments of the forex exchange market. Now, in a circular, the CBN said all foreign exchange forex windows are now collapsed into the investors and exporters window. According to the Apex Bank, the move is part of a series of immediate changes to operations in the Nigerian forex market. Now, experts have raised concerns about accountability and economic implications of the Nigerian Senate's approval of an increase in the federal government's borrowing limit from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Senate on May 27 made changes to a law permitting the federal government to obtain additional funds from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The legislature, in an emergency session, adopted changes that will permit an increase in its overdraft at the CBN. Some economists argued that the increase in the limit is a necessary monetary intervention, stating that it is important to improve revenue generation. Others, however, expressed doubts about the government's ability to adhere to the limits and maintain fiscal discipline. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) said it had directed mobile network operators and internet service providers in the country to comply with regulatory frameworks in place by the Commission towards ensuring the security and safety of their networks for telecom consumers. The NCC said this in a statement by Ruben Moka, the Director of Public Affairs of the Commission, yesterday. According to that particular statement, the Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Umar Dambata, gave the charge at the 2023 annual Nigeria Digital Sense Forum focused on Internet Governance for Development, which took place in Lagos State. It addressed stakeholders at the event. Mr. Dambata, who was represented by Chidi Duogu, the NCC's head of New Media and Information Security, noted that one of the regulatory frameworks put in place by the Commission is the Internet Code of Practice for the telecom industry, which is designed to protect the right of Internet users. He said the Internet Code also outlines Internet access service providers' obligations concerning protecting consumers' personal data. It also lists the obligations of Internet access service providers in handling offensive and potentially harmful content and the protection of minors and vulnerable audiences online, among others. By upholding the tenets of the Internet Governance Code, Mr. Dambata said the Commission, in collaboration with other stakeholders, can make networks safe and get telecom consumers protected online. Mr. Dambata said with the emergence of new technologies such as the fifth generation 5G currently being deployed in Nigeria, the need has come to pay greater attention to the issue of privacy, data integrity, and online trust across telecom networks. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has asked the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, to provide it with specified information on companies involved in gas flaring, including the amount flared and penalty costs in the last decade. The House said NOSDRA should include both local and international oil companies so that outstanding debts would be fully recovered. Also, the House urged key and relevant government agencies in the petroleum sector under the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, under the Ministry of Environment and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission under the Ministry of Power to avoid working in silos and strengthen synergy to produce a practical and unified multi-level governance and policy coherence analysis that will stem gas flaring, protect the environment, and boost energy supply. These resolutions were sequel to the unanimous adoption of a motion moved by a member of the House, Ahmed Munir, titled "Need to Address the Lingering Issue of Gas Flaring by Oil and Gas Companies." Munir noted that Nigeria was blessed with vast oil and natural gas resources, but due to inadequate management of resources, most of the natural gas was flared. The lawmaker cited a NOSDRA which stated that in 2022, Nigeria flared 216.5 billion standard cubic feet of gas in about 11 months, despite its commitment in November 2021 to reach net zero by 2060. He quoted the report to have stated that 12 million tons of CO2 were emitted into the atmosphere, thus contributing to global warming, while useful natural gas valued at $0.79 billion was burned by the Nigerian oil and gas industry, equivalent to the value of $450 million, many of which were said not to be collected. And that's all we have for you today on the VOP Business Show. My name is Esther Machiku. Would like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube. It is Voice of the People TV, that is at voptvlive, as well as across our other social media channels. Good afternoon and thank you for staying with us.